And it is great to have you with us on the starting lineup, and welcome back. Again, a reminder, our number is 417, area code obviously, 447-1021, 447-1021, both for texting and to call us and speak with us on the air. Starting lineup brought to you by Play It Again Sports, Fremont Shopping Center, Battlefield, and Fremont Springfield. We'll hear more about them a little bit later on in the show. By Citizens Bank of Rogersville with two locales, one adjacent to Highland Springs and the other in Rogersville itself. By Swing Right Golf at the south end of Campbell Avenue, a little bit north of Nixa. 4 is their trademark at Swing Right Golf. And by Marshfield Chevrolet at the I-44 exit, couple of left turns, and you're right there at Marshfield Chevrolet. Ned Reynolds along with
Scott Puryear.
And Art Hains.
Good morning, Arthur.
Morning, guys.
We tried to get Tyler Tolbert on this morning, but he was apparently in demand with the media after his 12 consecutive hits. So we do have Terry Allen, though, as part of our Ozarks Legends Series, former Northern Iowa, Kansas, Missouri State football coach. Of course, had a time in the replay booth as the supervisor of that. We welcome in Coach Allen live from an airport in Chicago. Terry, good morning.
Boy, those are a couple familiar voices. It's great to be with you guys. I miss you guys, and it's a great opportunity. I'm in the middle of another vacation. I'm actually sitting here on the floor at O'Hare waiting to board a flight to go to South Florida. So not many people go to South Florida in July, but it's the only time we can get the whole family together. So we're very much looking forward to it.
Well, when I tried to get you a couple weeks ago, I think you were on a cruise ship somewhere in foreign waters, right?
Yeah, we were. My wife and I, Lynn, and we took a cruise out of South London. And went to Norway and then out to Iceland. It was quite the experience. It's a beautiful part of the world and one that I'd never visited before. And I got that one checked off my bucket list. And Arthur, you would like that.
Well, with
I would love that.
All those vacations, TA, does football's not even a vacation anymore, is it?
Well, this is going to be interesting. I've actually did the officiating stuff, as Scott mentioned, but the last 2 years I've actually been helping out Matt Campbell there at Iowa State. And so now that was an easy commute for me then, but it's not so easy to get from Cedar Falls, Iowa to Penn State University.
Happy Valley.
Yeah, Happy Valley, no question about it.
Art?
Yeah, so Terry, Chase is on the staff, you say, at Penn State?
He is. He had that run, Art, and finally realized he became a father and got a wonderful job using his degrees, which he had 2 of them from Iowa State in industrial and mechanical engineering. And lo and behold, much to his father's chagrin, he's decided to become a college football coach. But what a golden opportunity, and it's a special place out there, Happy Valley. It's really pretty cool.
Well, Terry, as you well know, obviously the coaching world has changed with the portal and NIL and all the things these guys have to deal with now. Would Terry Allen have enjoyed coaching in this climate, in this era, or did you get out at the right time?
I think I got out at the right time. You can dabble with the coaching, but the day-to-day demands of the NIL and recruiting and re-recruiting, and it's a mess, to be honest with you guys. We've got to somehow reel it in. It's so unrealistic right now. Just with conversations with the coaches I know, it's just it's a shame for the game. It's a shame for the sport. And, if the Big Ten and the Southeast Conference go their own way, that just creates more of something that I think we're all going to very much miss, because there was nothing like the tradition of college football and the conferences and the bowl games and all the above.
Terry, do you foresee that happening with those two conferences, SEC and Big Ten, leaving and establishing as a separate organization?
Unfortunately, I think I would probably lead in that direction. It's just become such a financial, whatever you want to call it, free for all, that it just it's wild and crazy times. And we missed the boat probably 10 years ago, in my opinion, where we should have paid the players. We had the money to do that, but make it realistic and give them an opportunity. The crazy thing with today is you've got kids that are making $1 million and they'll never make a roster in the NFL. Yeah. There's no place for them. So it's just, Chase always gives me a hard time. He goes, Dad, I was born 4 years too early. But yeah, so, I don't know. The games are going to be the same. There's so many good football players out there, and, patience and parents and money just doesn't bode well, in my opinion, for the future of college athletics.
Arthur?
Terry, on another note, one of the most fun nights I ever had was when you and Lynn took us to the Brown Bottle there in Cedar Falls the night before the Bears played UNI in the strange spring season of 2021, and that was a great time. Good to see your bachelor pad provided by your friend, the concrete dealer.
Yes, there you go. Old Bugs Benton. That was, and God, I'm going blank on my name right now. Your partner in crime, your color guy.
Dennis Heim.
Dennis, yeah. Dennis, every time I see him, still shakes his head about the good time we had in Cedar Falls the night before the game. I'll be honest with you guys. I miss you guys. For years we've been able to get down to the Springfield area, Nixa and Table Rock, over the 4th, and had so many good friends there. And we didn't make it down this year, and I've really missed that. So it's just great opportunity for me to speak to you guys, because it brings back so many fond memories and so many wonderful people that we met there in Southwest Missouri.
Well, Terry, you had such a tremendous run starting out at Northern Iowa there from 89 to 96, winning the Gateway Conference about every year. I think you were 5-time Coach of the Year in the league. What was it that was so magical about that place? And Ned and I were talking in the first hour, kind of teasing this interview. I remember the game against the Bears where Missouri State or SMS scored on a long one, and you're standing over the flag on the field saying, bring it back, bring it back. You guys were having fun up there at Northern Iowa back then. What was special about the place?
I think I was young and dumb at the time. And, I was a graduate of there. It was different times. The University of Northern Iowa when I was there, we had 14,000 students. Now they're down to 10, and we had a wonderful tradition going. And I remember very fondly before some of the big games that we had in the Dome, looking out over the student section before they opened the doors and seeing them lined up. That it just created quite the home field advantage. And you'll appreciate this because, Art, I think you probably did the game, but the initial sellout in the Dome was against Southwest Missouri when Jesse was there. And Bob Bowlesby, who went on to be the commissioner of the Big 12, he was our athletic director at the time. And I was up, it was an evening game, and I kind of had a ritual, but I would go up to the Dome and do some things and get ready for the game. But I see lines of people outside buying tickets. And there's the future commissioner of the Big 12, his secretary, and myself. We were selling tickets, and they were saying, well, how many can we sell? And Bob goes, as many as people want. The fire marshal was not pleased with it, but and I only learned this a couple, 3 years ago. We won that game on a 2-point conversion. And the irony of that was we ran a play, we threw it, and it was incomplete, but there was pass interference. And being the idiot that I was as a coach, I guess you could say, I called the same play. And we did it, and we scored, and we won the game. But I found out 5 years ago, the guy that caught the second pass, he said, Coach, I've been waiting to tell you this for years. I actually dropped that ball.
Oh, no.
It should have been an incompletion. Yeah. Arthur, how you doing?
I'm doing great, TA. Yeah, hanging in there.
Good. All right. You been down to the lake at all?
Not to the dock this year. We got down there last year, but we've been to the lake for a couple of different things.
Hey, Terry, I'm going to recall an incident, too, when you were coaching at Northern Iowa, and you came down here to play, and all week long, this is a game in early November, we had hyped this game. This is going to be the conference championship.
Redemption game from the year before. And I remember.
And we were going to have probably 14, 15, 16,000 people on hand. Dawn of that day, the temperature was about 5 degrees. It warmed up to about 19. God, it was cold. Hains and I, didn't have any heat in the press box at all. And you guys came down here, and it was like you were playing in Miami because it was perfect Northern Iowa weather. Do you remember that one?
Oh, I certainly do. But, going back, my very first year as a head coach, we went down and we played at Southwest, and it was Southwest then, but I'll never forget. They had a great crowd, and I don't know what the occasion was, but the student section of those old wooden bleachers we had over there, it was full. And then after that, it was a great atmosphere. Later that year, some of my friends from the Waterloo Cedar Falls area were going to go to Branson to play golf. And so we came down and we actually played at Highland Springs the first day. And the weather was beautiful. It was March and 75 degrees, wonderful golf course. And I said, if push came to shove, that wouldn't be a bad place to live. And, as it turned out, I've told you guys this before, professionally, it may not have been my best move, but personally and for our family, there's no question it was the best move we could possibly have done. Wonderful friends down there. Our kids certainly enjoyed their time at Nixa. And, I just look back with that and brings a smile to my face. And as I said earlier, the many, many friends, and I count you three right in there with them, that we still have from down there in Springfield, brings a smile to my face.
Arthur?
Terry, I remember some great Super Bowl parties you had at your house in Nixa year after year, and Coach Bulks would be in charge of the entertainment, and we had a great time.
Oh, yeah. And yes, Rob did a great job. That entertainment was, I don't know, we can probably get in trouble for it now, but back then he had everything from that we could possibly gamble on to, I remember one of the opening decisions was, would the national anthem go over or under, I think, 1:43 or something, and you got 50 adults and kids standing there with a stopwatch, seeing who's going to win the first bet, and that's right up Robbie's, I guess, a wheelhouse to orchestrate fun and exciting games. But yeah, those are good memories. And I go back. My wife and I were just talking about it the other day. We miss the 4th of July at that home we had in Nixa, because we could sit out on our deck and you could see fireworks displays from 20 miles away, and they're going off all over the place. And again, just brings a smile because it's such a memorable and good times.
Terry, your run at Northern Iowa was tremendous. Got you in the Hall of Fame up there at UNI. You had a quarterback named Kurt Warner that you are famously known now as the guy who kept him on the bench for 3 seasons, I think, as a backup before he became the Gateway Player of the Year his senior year, and, of course, went on to fame in the NFL with the Rams and the Cardinals. Did you see that in Kurt Warner back at Northern Iowa, that potential to do what he wound up doing?
Is that a setup question?
Yeah.
If I thought he was going to be a Super Bowl MVP, yeah, of course. But we had a pretty good quarterback before him, Jay Johnson. I think his record as a 3-year starter was something like 32-2 or some crazy like that. But I will say this: Kurt could flat throw the football. And, he wasn't the most mobile guy in the world. He went, I had a guy, Dick Mosley, on my staff who had previously been with the Green Bay Packers, and Mose and I were able to get the Packers to bring him in as a free agent. And I don't know, it was Farr, Dittmer, and they had 3 guys who went on to be starting quarterbacks in the NFL. So Kurt comes back to Cedar Falls, and the famous story there, as Mike Hopman would tell you from Hy-Vee, is that he stocked shelves at Hy-Vee, and then John Greggy was the football coach of the arena football team, the Iowa Barnstormers. And John and I were good friends. John was a Northern Iowa graduate and went on and coached at South Dakota State. But John I said, John, you got to take a look at this guy. Well, obviously, Kurt went down there. He I guess you would say, under the duress of that game and that league and how they play it, he learned how to get rid of the ball pretty darn fast. And then obviously went to Europe, and then they came back, and the wonderful, successful story that he had with the St. Louis Rams that we're also very proud of.
Terry, I can tell you a quick story from the TV aspect of things. When Warner, when he hit it big with the Rams, it came to me and said, "Do you have any pictures of him playing at Northern Iowa?" I said, "Sure, we've got a lot of video." Went back and looked at it, and he's handing the ball off every single damn time.
Be nice now.
We
Be
are.
nice. Oh, I know it. No, yeah, that's just. And hey, how about the Bears? I think I've talked to you guys off the air about this, but I thought it was a great move for Missouri State to go to Conference USA from football standpoint. Because Conference USA have had some very good teams, football teams that have obviously departed the league. But, I think you asked most coaches, you'd rather line up and play the Conference USA schedule than the Missouri Valley Football Conference schedule, and have been able to get some excitement. Coach Beard did a great job, and I think the future is bright, and I think it's brought a little bit of pride to the football program and to Southwest Missouri and Springfield to have a quote Division 1A football program, or FBS.
Art?
Well, because, Terry, as you know, when you were here and after and before, there was a hardcore group of football fans really wanting to support the team, but the kind of flipped a switch a few years ago. Have you been surprised that the support that it's generated now?
It was, I always, second guess myself, because would have obviously liked to have had a lot more success there, because the community and the, Springfield and the area, the whole all basketball, that. But there is a hardcore going with Dennis Heim, and the support there. I'm just happy for them that we can regenerate that, and hopefully I'm watching from afar, but some of the facility upgrades that are very much needed that they can get accomplished and make that. You got 22,000 students, and I don't know, I can't remember how many people in the Springfield metropolitan area, but there certainly are enough people there to pack those stands.
Mm-hmm.
Terry, before we let you go, you got a plane to catch. All your kids had outstanding, successful careers at Nixa High School, and you talk about facility upgrades down there. Now Friday nights are like a college game. But tell us about Alex and Angie. Angie, of course, was the news leader, athlete of the year, volleyball, basketball. I will tell you this: Nixa has been the first team in the area to institute flag football for girls. What kind of quarterback would Angie Allen have been?
She'd have been really good. She really would have. She could throw the ball, but I mentioned Alex first. Alex is here in the Cedar Falls area, selling medical supplies for Stryker. His wife, she played basketball at UNI. Her dad played football for us at UNI. She's about 6 foot tall.
Wow.
And their little guy Shep, he's going to be a big boy, and it's fun. They're actually in a situation where they're changing houses right now, and they're living in our basement. So seeing the smiling face of a 10-month-old every day in the morning when you get up is pretty special. And Angie just got married here last April. She is the deputy commissioner of the Big West Athletic Conference, and her husband is a recon Marine instructor. So put that together, okay? He teaches the badasses how to be a badasses. And they live in Southern California, and her job is all remote. And she's going to join us down in Florida also. So Angie's doing great and has run into a handful of people, and I wish I could remember the names, of people involved with the NCAA who are from Nixa or the conference that the Eagles are in that is just amazing to me. There's a handful of them.
Terry, is your son-in-law stationed out at that wonderful vacation spot, 29 Palms?
My daughter, this is great. She goes, "Yep, Angie, where are you living?" She goes, "Oh, I'm living in a gated community." Well, that gated community happens to be Camp Pendleton right there in the San Diego. But she said, "Yep, I live in a gated community."
That's beautiful.
Well, Terry, enjoy your vacation. It's always great to catch up with you. I know we enjoy it, and when I told these guys who we had on, they were excited because it's always fun to talk to you, and we appreciate your time.
Well, I appreciate that, Scott, and you know how I feel about you guys. Ned, Art, Scott, you guys be good, and to all the people down in Southwest Missouri that can hear the voice, I miss people. Thank you.
Thank you. Have fun.
Miss you, man.
Please stop back here and see us too, Terry, if you will. Sometime.
I will. We'll have one, Ned.
Damn right. Terry Allen visiting with us. We'll take a time out on the starting lineup and be right back. And we are very pleased to have you with us on the starting lineup. And welcome back, Ned Reynolds, along with
Scott Puryear
and Art Hains.
You guys spent a lot more time than I ever did away from the football field with Coach Allen, but a guy that was probably more fun to deal with off the field than on, right?
Well, he was absolutely a great person to visit with. Lots of terrific stories to tell and memories of the collisions, so to speak, with Northern Iowa and Southwest Missouri State at the time. One of my favorite memories, and it did not involve Coach Allen directly, although he was in attendance at the game. Kickapoo was playing Nixa in basketball. And, here's Chase Allen. He's the big power forward or center for Nixa. And here is Travis Vokalek, who is playing for Kickapoo. And these guys are hammering on each other. And the referee stops the game. Says, "Guys, hey, look, calm down here." And they said, "Ref, we're cousins. We've done this before." He said, "Oh, you guys are related?" He said, "Yeah, we're first cousins." Go ahead.
Art, I think it would have been interesting to see what John Perry could have done with both Chase and Alex Allen.
Oh, my.
Those big tight ends. And because at the time that they played, Nixa was very much run-oriented, didn't throw it hardly at all. until they got down around the red zone. And then it was kind of nice having 6'6", 6'7" to basically throw it up there and go get it and stuff. But, yeah, and then, Angie, volleyball, basketball, went to Kansas and was a rower, I think, up there.
Yeah, that's right.
And, she'd been a good fit in this new flag football era we have now as well.
She really would have. Yeah. I mean, Terry, one of my all-time favorites. What a great, fun guy to be around.
Explain to me again, I know there were certain restrictions, I think, in place from a university standpoint when Terry was at Missouri State versus what they face now. And I'm trying to remember what those were. Randy Ball ran into it when he came here from Western Illinois. And these were guys that won and won big at their previous stops. But was it who the university would allow in at the time? Was that the thing, Art?
Well, one of them was scholarship restrictions.
Yeah.
For Title IX reasons. That football was limited to certain number of people on the team, including walk-ons.
Mm-hmm.
And so they were playing with less than some of their other opponents in the league. And I think there were some problems getting transfer students admitted and various obstacles there that maybe have been removed now.
And I think I remember, and correct me if I'm wrong, but when Doriel Green Beckham ran into his problems at Mizzou and was dismissed, Missouri State at the time said, we're not taking him, that type of deal. And then he winds up going down the road to Oklahoma, never played for the Sooners, but was there, possibly for a second year there. Is that accurate?
I'm not sure, really. I hadn't really heard that.
Yeah, I remember.
He did. He practiced with them. He practiced with Oklahoma.
Yeah. He used their workout facilities more than anything else. He was a scout team receiver, I think, at the time, because he did at that time you had to sit out. But it seems like I remember maybe the president at Missouri State at the time making a statement we're not going to take.
Did not come from the coaching staff. It came from the upper echelon.
Absolutely, stuff too. So
yeah, and to think his offenses now would be legal.
Yeah, they would be.
Yeah. So, we were talking about it. You just can't stop Tyler Tolbert. And Art, tell us his background that brings him from somebody we have to Google to a guy that has 12 consecutive hits.
Part-time player, was in the minors earlier this year and pretty much used as a pinch runner and late-inning defensive replacement because he's so fast and athletic, but never really was a hitter, didn't have many opportunities to hit. And then he's been thrust into this situation. And back-to-back 5-hit games. The last time that was done in Major League Baseball was 1970, Roberto Clemente.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And, the 12 consecutive at-bats producing hits, that ties a Major League record set by Walt Dropo in 1952 with the Tigers.
Yep.
So, I mean, this is rare air for a guy that had been just a role player for a bad team.
And is he kind of would you say it, one of those quad A type guys up to this point?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. 4A player.
And what does this do for him playing time going forward? Obviously, they're going to play the hot hand. Does he have a place, you think, for the next few weeks at least?
Well, they'll find a place as long as he's riding this heater.
Yeah.
He'll be in there somewhere. Now, Mikhail Garcia will be back hopefully shortly. But day before yesterday, they gave Bobby a day off in the field and had him DH, and that's where Tyler was shortstop. Last night he played right field. But, they're going to have him in there as long as he's hitting like this.
41 hits over the last 2 games, setting a Royals franchise record. As a diehard, you're watching this. What's going through your mind?
Well, I remember in 2003, I think it was, that the Royals hadn't been very good in the past, and they're hitting all these walk-off home runs. That really is when the term walk-off was coined. And Denny Matthews, one night after this happened about 4 times, said, "What's going on?" Somebody like Mindy Lopez hit a game-winning home run. And I'm saying, what's going on with Tyler Tolbert? Where'd this come from?
part of baseball. That's the rhythm that the game has, and this guy has seized the opportunity to come in there and really do what he can do. It shows his abilities. It's not going to last, of course, at this level. It can't possibly, but by the same token, he's showing that, hey, maybe I do have the skills to be here.
Well, and it's so bizarre because, excuse me, Carter Jensen doesn't even play Monday in the game where they score 15 on the Phillies. And then last night, Jack Caglione's the only one without an RBI. Yeah. You know, the two of the guys that have been kind of carrying them the last month or so, along with Bobby Witt Jr. So Seth Lugo was awful.
He was awful.
Yeah.
Awful.
And this is, you know, I was going through with Ned at the top, right before the top of the hour. There's I think CBS Sportsline had most likely guys at the trade deadline to be moved. The only Royal listed in that top 25 was Lane Thomas. So it's almost like they don't think anybody wants, you know, the Lugos and the Wakas and guys like that now.
Well, they sure don't want Lugo the way he's pitching right now. Last night it was not, you know, they were behind 9-4. They caught up, and he's still in the game. And he gave up almost a home run. They called it fair, and then on replay it was foul. I'm thinking, why is this man still pitching?
Well,
they finally got him out.
They found a team last night that's actually deeper in the dumps than they are with the Mets. That helped.
It did, but the Phillies weren't the dumps, and they beat them 2 in a row before this.
Yeah, that's true.
Philadelphia left Mr. Sanchez in there for 9 runs and 12 hits before they finally removed him.
That was about as bad as Lugo.
It was. Timeout. Take your timeout on the starting lineup. Be right back. And we are back with the starting lineup brought to you by Play It Again Sports, by Swing Right Golf, by Marshfield Chevrolet, and by Citizens Bank of Rogersville. Ned Reynolds along with
Scott Puryear. And Art Hains. There's Art. And special guest on the line, one of our longtime friends and sponsors, been with us pretty much everything we've done. It goes. I remember when they were having us out for remotes out there, which we need to get those going again. I've talked to Brian about it. Maybe come to the store and look around. You know, when I was at Drury, they hosted the Drury Athletics radio show. Just great sponsors of sports in general in the Ozarks. Jeff Salyers of Play It Again Sports. Of course, his partner, Jeff Newland. Sal, good morning.
Good morning, guys. How are we doing?
We're doing great. You guys got a big, you've had 2 weeks of big sales. The first one had a lot of golf and ellipticals and fitness and all that stuff. And now we're focusing on the baseball and softball equipment. Let's get that stuff out of the store, right?
Yes. We've already, believe it or not, 2027 stuff is already coming in. You know, the newest bats, stuff like that. So, you know, some of the stuff, you know, with the 2026, you know, it's still, you know, an inline product. A lot of times it's more just a paint job, but that's what the kids want.
And what is the big thing in bats these days, technology-wise? Because I've been out of that circle for 5-6 years. What has changed? I know that it was different materials that were used, the drops. Kind of what do you tell people that are coming in and they say, I need a really good bat for my team's competitive baseball kids?
Well, you know, first thing goes along with, you know, there's 1-piece or 2-piece bats. Then usually with the 2-piece bats are going to be a composite bat or composite barrel with a composite handle, or you got a composite barrel with a alloy handle, or you have the 1-piece composite. Then you have the all alloy. I mean, those bats, you know, traditionally are going to run $299 to $499, and that's in baseball, softball, youth and adult, USSSA. Probably one of the hottest bats out there, which I can't advertise, but I'll talk about it, is the combat bat. And I know that's a bat that Missouri State used. I had those guys, which Rawlings couldn't find them. I was finding bats for 2 or 3 of their players that wanted this certain combat. I found them down in Miami, had them aired in. And, I mean, there was guys that believed that this one certain combat was balanced better. And that was in one of their 1-piece bats. They're introducing new bats. And I don't know if you've heard about this, Scott or Ned or Art. They have the 1-piece. They have bats called like cookie dough, mint chocolate chip, rodeo. They have all kinds of different names. A lot of times, again, they're just paint jobs. but they just came out with their two-piece bat, which is more of an end-loaded bat. And sometimes that's what you'll find on your two-piece bats. They may be a little more end-loaded, which would mean they're a little heavier on the end, which is maybe more for your power hitter. So if you can generate that speed with that bat, the ball will go further.
Jeff, I know that part of your uniform sale's already been done, but I want you to articulate, if you can, to the audience, the fact that you folks at Played Against Sports do order uniforms for teams, not just baseball, but in everything.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, right now we're delivering football, volleyball, soccer for all the fall sports, cross country. You got cheerleading. We do cheerleading stuff. Scott, like you said, we've had a relationship with Drury, and we got all their stuff going. We do colleges. We do youth teams. We do high schools. We do homeschool teams. I mean, we don't limit it to anything.
Art?
Well, I mean, you guys are really kind of all things to all people right now in the sporting world as far as competitive youth sports. And I know you've been that way for a number of years, kind of taking over the role that Harbell used to years ago.
Well, that's where I learned kind of everything from old Shorty Harrison, old Glenn Dinger Bell. 33 years ago, they gave me a shot, and that's how I kind of got in the industry. And then I've never left.
Well, and that's why I wanted to get into, because I don't think we've ever really dove into. I mean, this is what, year 32 or 33 for Played Against Sports?
33, yes,
33 with you and Jeff Newland. How did you two come together? It sounds like you cut your teeth at Harbell. Kind of talk about the evolution of Played Against Sports in Springfield, because you guys are what, one of the top 5 largest in volume in the country still?
Yep. We're biggest. We're one of the biggest foot map by square foot, and one of the largest volume, in the country. And that's just based off Springfield, Missouri. And we're competing against stores that are in Boston and stuff like that. Which I mean, in the people, but I mean, here the local support is tremendous. And that includes, the baseball, the soccer, the volleyball, all the club business that we're doing. We started 33 years ago. We're on second, and Scott, and you can attend to this, second and third generation kids that we dealt with. Their kids are coming in. And we got the grandpas. Oh, do you remember me back when you guys opened up? You did my uniforms. Now we're doing the grandkids or the kids, which is awesome. I mean, and we owe a lot to those customers. The loyalty has been great. We thrive on hopefully our customer service. We're not always going to be perfect, but if it's not done right, we'll make it right.
How did you and Newland come together?
Well, I kind of answered an ad. He moved down here, probably 35 years ago, and he had a kind of a silent partner in Wichita, Kansas, that ran a Played Again, and he was helping him maybe to start his own store. And I kind of answered an ad. I came over from Harbell. I went back to Harbell, said, hey, I've been offered a job. And I still talk to some of those guys, back in the day, the Brian Tuckers, still see Shorty every now and then at Scramblers, stuff like that. They always look back and say, man, we wish we would have kept you, but we're glad to see what you're doing. So I went over there, and, 6 months into the store, I kind of had the edge because I was from this area, knew a lot of the coaches that I played, baseball, football, soccer, did all that type stuff. So I kind of told Newland this is the way it needs to be. He took a chance on me. I took a chance on him. And the rest is really history.
Jeff, I think Scott, Art, I should say, went through this with you in the past. But is there any one particular level of interest from the public in sports that is hard for you to keep up with in stock? Anything that's shorthanded, so to speak, that you have to really keep in touch with? Well,
I mean, it's gone in waves. During COVID, unfortunately, fitness, we couldn't get enough of it, just because everybody was, training and doing stuff at home. We were very lucky when that hit. We did have a warehouse full of, weights and that type stuff. The golf thing is an industry that is just blown up here with us. We've really expanded that. Scott, I think you've been in. I know your son's been in. We're doing the grips. We're doing the loft and lie. We're doing the reshafting. We've got a lot of different other brands that we're carrying. We've got hats, golf hats. We got all the gloves, accessory, anything that you need, and that's in the new and used. The hardest thing is getting used, and that's one thing we want to push more of is, the price of stuff is just getting, kind of out of control a little bit, in my opinion. We raise the prices as our prices get raised. That's just part of it. But if we can get more used, that customer can come in, bring their golf clubs in, or their, cleats or ball glove. You can create your own discount, and that's where our niche is. With the customers, and that's what we want is more used, because those families. I never have enough used ball gloves, Ned. I wish I had thousands of them, because I'd sell every one of them. Used ball gloves that are broke in. There's nothing better.
Art?
Jeff, used to have some good times out there on my other sports talk show for years, or out there one night a week with you two, and I was up in the loft overlooking the floor, and that was fun.
Yes, sir. It's still there. That's where all my team guys are now. We got 3 road salesmen up there that, calling all the schools and, that take care of all the uniform customers that walk in. Another thing that we're pushing right now, which a lot of people don't think about it, but we've had a good run here in the last week, is letter jackets, really for the outlying schools. Right now is the best time to buy them because it's very slow in that industry. If you wait till September, October, November, it just gets, very, very busy. And then, you're wanting it for Christmas. There's no guarantee you're going to get it for Christmas. Because right now we can turn them in probably, 5 to 6 weeks. When it comes to that time, it's going to be 8 to 10 weeks.
Well, Sal, that this sale ends on Sunday. Kind of tell us some of the specials that are out there. I know that it's Highland Dairy Ice Cream Day from 11 to 2 on Saturday. The lovely Mrs. Salyers will be handing out ice cream and brightening up the store for that afternoon. Kind of tell us about what's going on the rest of the week.
Well, with that, everything in our store as far as baseball equipment is going to be 10 to 50% off. We probably have a sale table of, we get down to certain sizes in shoes, or we get 2 or 3 left. Right now it's at 50% off. Probably by Saturday or Friday, I may up that to probably anywhere from 60 to 75% off. So you could buy a shoe that's $100 and almost walk out there with it for $25. That's a shoe that, you can get for the upcoming season or next season. We have all ball gloves, 10 to 20% off. All baseball pants, 25% off. That's any brand. Catcher's gear, 20% off. Bags, 10% off. We have the wiffle ball. That's a big item right now. We sell a lot of wiffle balls this time of year. We have the official wiffle ball. Then we have the blitz ball package. All that stuff is 10% off. Batters helmets. The ice cream deal last year, it's from 11 to 2. Last year we went through in about 3.5 hours. It probably went a little bit over. We'll go through 400 to 500 things of ice cream.
Wow.
We'll have ice cream sandwiches, drumsticks. Last year it was a great success, so that's why we're doing it again. I owe a lot to Rob at Highland Dairy. He's helped me out with that the last couple of years. We couldn't do it without them. I know they're going to be advertising it, during the Chuck Wiley tournament with Angie. We have a relationship with them that they're announcing it when they have their opening ceremonies. We'll have signs out on the road that says free ice cream. So people are just going to see a sign and see free ice cream. They may not buy nothing from us, but they're coming inside and they're going to get ice cream if they buy something or not. Absolutely.
Well, Sal, we appreciate your sponsorship, continued sponsorship here with the new station, and best of luck with the sale. And let's hand out some ice cream, okay?
Yes, sir. I do appreciate it, guys, very much.
You bet. Thank you. Have a great
Thanks,
week.
Al.
You bet.
Jeff Salyers
too.
played
Bye-bye.
against sports. We'll take a timeout on starting lineup and be right back. Delighted to have you with us on the starting lineup. Fire away, man.
Yeah, Scott Puryear here with Ned Reynolds, Art Hains, and Art. We didn't talk about Travis and Taylor's wedding. I'm sure you were on the invite list but didn't go, correct?
Yeah, I was. I had to decline.
Yeah, and from the text line, we had a FYI DGB was released from Mizzou by Coach Pinkel after alleged burglary and assault charges. That's why Missouri State didn't want him. It's kind of what we said, wasn't it? Yeah. I mean, they said we're not touching that situation. And of course, then he went down the road to Bob Stoops in Oklahoma. Every coach out there will say, "Well, if he can play, we can fix him. We can have a reclamation project." But there's some of them that it's just like, yeah, we're not going down that path, and stuff too. So, hey, Art, we were talking at the top of the first hour that tough loss for all of us with Phil Wilkins passing. Yeah. I know you knew him well, and to me, he was kind of Mr. Evangel, but he was Mr. Local Sports basically overall.
He was. What a good man. Yeah, big Evangel fan, lifelong, but he would show up at quarterback and tip off and lead off club and had a sincere interest in all local sports. Very kind guy, and I hate to hear it.
And like we said, it was just great that he could make it out in June to our Ozarks Old Timers Luncheon and see familiar faces in the coaching world that he was a fan of, and at least be able to get to one more of those back in June.
And even in obvious dire circumstances, he was very positive and very much wanting to talk about the sports world, which he loved.
Absolutely. And then, of course, the next one of those, by the way, is on Wednesday, August 12th, pushing it back 1 week in August. I'm actually out of town the first week of August, but we'll do August 12th. I think we're going to keep them monthly. It seems like that's a good fit. Once a month, bring a guest in. And Art, you missed the last one, but we had Dave Davis, and he did a bang-up job, as you would expect he would in that.
Dave.
Yeah, I love Dave. What a Renaissance man, coach and journalism teacher.
And he was especially articulate and much more than when they talk about his coaching. He was the media aspect that he has done, and it's really nothing more than remarkable. And that does lead us into the September 29th event that we'll have here in town, which is the banquet and inductions into the Springfield Sports Hall of Fame.
This year known as the They'll Let Anybody In inductions this year. But I want to say thanks to Guy Newcomb, too, because we tell him who our guest is for those old-timer luncheons, and he goes out and finds their old players and invites them. So that worked out well for Davis as well.
Scott Bailey was up here.
Yep, absolutely. Yep, we got to run.
All right, we're out of time, folks. Thanks for being with us. Ned Reynolds along with
Scott Puryear.
Art Hains.
And we will see you tomorrow right here on the starting lineup.
See ya.